Straight Talk morning show on the Straight Talk Network. My name is Andre Hill. I am your host, and we have a full panel here today. I'm traveling and I'm in St. Louis today, and we got a lot to bring you. So let me introduce the panel. I'm looking at from the top left of my screen, we have the chairman of the United Aboriginal American Republic. He oversees the Council of Elders. How you doing this morning, Chairman, in Detroit?
Grand Rising, everyone. I'm doing pretty good. We got some rainy weather here, but temperature-wise, it's nice. 62 degrees. Looking forward to a fantastic show. Got some fantastic people out here.
Absolutely, man. All right, say, Mama Kelly is our chief researcher. She's a university in herself with all the knowledge and experiences that she's had all over the planet. How you doing, this Mama Kelly, in the Atlanta, Georgia area?
Well, I'm doing very well physically. Um, I am challenged a bit as far as emotionally because I see so much being done to destroy our people.
Yes.
And one of my problems is what they call, it's a new name, I think, empath. It
Yeah.
hurts me
Mm,
when I see it. I physically hurt,
wow.
and so we have to find some solutions very fast because they are moving fast to erase us. And
Absolutely.
so I hate to come with that kind of information, but I have to remind you of what Elijah Muhammad said 60, maybe more years ago, what time it is and what must be done. We have to accept that. We have to look at it, we have to accept it, and we have to move. And so I land here.
Absolutely. Well, we're gonna get started with and let you lay out the program in just a few minutes. Also, we have at the top of my screen, Marina, and also you're in Northeast Georgia. How are you
Yeah,
doing this morning, dear?
I am doing wonderful and I'm so wonderful. I'm so grateful and I'm honored to be here. So, yes, sir.
All
Thank you.
right, wonderful. And we have a visiting guest, Amani. Amani, how are you this rising, dear?
I'm doing well. I am located in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I currently have my screen off because I'm getting ready to go to a community event, but I am honored to be able to tune in and soak up this wisdom.
Absolutely. All right. So also we have our chief jurist and engineer Andre Jr. in Tampa, where I need to be out of this weather. How you doing this morning, man?
Doing good, doing good. Everything is well. Peace and love, family.
All right. Well, let's get this show on. Once again, I'm in St. Louis, and there's a National Socialist Party operating here, and they are organizing a template on getting our people connected to the entire planet with the Aboriginal people. But they fly on the logo of African Socialist Party, and we are hopeful. We're looking forward to some great things with them. Um, one of the things that in the movement, we are all melanated people are waking up at this juncture, and the entities that has been challenging us for the last 500 years, really longer than that, but I'm dealing specifically with the current history. Um, they knew that we were going to wake up at this time. That's why they started implementing all of these crazy things that are going on. One interesting thing that I noticed at this convention, a lot of there were quite a few Caucasian people that are attending, and I'm reading their frequency. It's some of it is mixed, but basically they are realizing that their ancestors did some horrible things to the Aboriginal people of this planet. And they know that they're putting themselves at risk by attending this function, supporting it, and their mentality is to go back and dismantle colonial structures. And you know, with me, the jury is still out on that. I'm not from Missouri, even though I'm visiting. But there's no saying. You got to show me. So anyway, uh, I'm going to be, as soon as the show over, I'm going to be headed back over to see exactly what's going on. There are other cultures that are joining in, that are aware of the wickedness that's operating out of this so-called United States of corporate America. So I will keep you posted and give you an update on the next show. But let's go ahead and get at the top of the list here. Mama Kelly, you were talking about how we can get land, but you have some feelings about what's really happening and what we need to do immediately.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. But I do want to first comment on what you have just disclosed. As far, I didn't know you were going to a meeting of a socialist or communist party event, but who are the communists right now? Who are? Take a look at this administration that has actually put more uh, uh, restrictions in place and taken more of the so-called rights of Americans away, starting in 9/11 2001. Remember the Patriot Act?
Yes.
It was put in place right then. They had written something that's about 1,000 pages, and it was in place within a week. I'm not sure how long it took, but I know it was very fast. So it was something that they were planning all along. And if you take a look at the restrictions that have been put on American so-called citizens now, right now, it's worse than communism. So why are they just, pointing to our brother and charging him when everybody in Congress, and that includes every Negro sitting there pretending that he is for us, she is for us, and some of them might be she's, you know, uh, you know, uh, they are foreign agents. Take a look at it. They're paid by Israel.
Mm.
Let us not forget that. And I'm
Oh, yeah.
sorry for just being so passionate, but that's just who I am. And I am so sick of all of this right now that if I were younger, I would be out there not protesting in the streets, but making sure that things didn't go the way that they planned for them to go. And they're not anyway, because we ourselves are under divine protection. And we always have been. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been here. They have done everything to destroy us. Absolutely everything in our face. And, we're still here. So now I'm not quite sure. The latest thing that I saw was that there's this claim that Black boys need to be sent to they are suggesting that Black boys be sent to some kind of farm to be reparented because they have been given drugs, the AGH, whatever that is, drugs. And so, that's something that we have to do. We have to take care of our children. Yes, they are going wild. It's true. Now, let me address what you have asked me about the land giveaway. Yeah, they are telling the so-called Native Americans, or those who call themselves natives, and now they have started saying they're indigenous, but that's not true. But they have said that that land is available to them, and of course, many of our people think that we should also go for that land. But where is that land that they are suggesting that we go and occupy? It's in the middle of the country, Oklahoma and Arkansas, right by the river that is where the water is disappearing because we've got a greedy AI, what do they call them? Data centers in Memphis now sucking up all the water, and the water is disappearing from the Mississippi.
Mhm.
So why? Why that land? That's not our land. Our land is the 5 civilized tribes. Okay? It was the Southeast where we are now. I think all of us are here, except for the chairman. He's up there in Detroit, but that was our land too. That's where the Iroquois Confederation, or one of the areas, where it connected all along the Nile, which is the Mississippi, but the real Nile is the Mississippi River, and so, hey, they are trying to give us something that, first of all, now, what does it need to be fertile? We go out into a deserted land, and the no trees or few trees, where's the water? Okay, so before we were to go and accept that so-called gift, I think we need to look at where we came from and where we own. This is our land. We own this land. Everybody else here is a squatter. And so I'll land right there and see if anybody wants to add anything or say something.
Well, I'm gonna pass the ball on to Marina, but before here is the strategy, and the reason I'm here in St. Louis is that we are waking up, but we don't have a real organized plan because in most cases our people, we're just coming out of the church system, which really brainwashed and programmed us to being very spiritually limited. This is a metaphysical agenda at this point. You got to think in the supernatural realm to understand what we're up against. You can't use your old church philosophy, religious philosophies to deal with this demon because these entities, they're operating from the physical, the supernatural realm because they understand how to manipulate and enslave an entire species. And so you got to be operating on that frequency to know how we're going to handle this. And there are people in our organization that understand this. But what we need right now to demonstrate to the guardians of the Most High is that we need the collective order to start galvanizing. So once again, I'm going to tell you, go to UAAR Nation, UAARnation.org, and sign up. The numbers gives us leverage. The numbers will help us build a financial institution that will not be part of gentrification, redlining, and all the horrible things that the high interest rates, all of those things. we will build our own currency to exchange and negotiate on the world stage. But the United States of corporate American dollar is demonstrating that it is very desperate right now, and it needs to underpin this currency with oil with oil currency. That's not the word, but I know and they want to use oil as a leverage and cause all this chaos in the Middle East or Northern Africa, and meanwhile the United States has some serious reserves, and now when they attack Venezuela, all that was, but they're trying to create a stranglehold and maintain legitimacy by saying, well, we got oil. Well, that's antiquated technology and it's outdated, and we're not going to go along with it anymore. We have alternatives to that antiquated technology. So if you're listening, and I had a conversation with a high school mate of mine yesterday, and he demonstrated frustration, and I understand the frustration, but because there is a plan, there is a strategy, but the first phase of the strategy is joining our collective. So you have options out there. You have groups that would call themselves the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. Colored people is not a nationality. That's the name they gave us when they took away our nationality. So hopefully, they'll get it and join us with understanding what tactics were used by these advanced beings to enslave us. But anyway, I'm gonna pass the ball on to Marina. What you were gonna talk about some things here. I know I have my notes, but go ahead and tell us in terms of what you see.
Well, greetings, y'all. One thing I definitely wanted to, I had a question, but kind of it's somewhat drafted into a comment a bit. And I should have brought my notebook so I can write down notes, because Mama Kali, thank you so much, as usual. Bless you for your wisdom and your research. One thing my sister had brought to my attention, I'd say maybe about at least 2 weeks ago, was she seen this YouTube video talking about these, I guess it was this video about people, I guess certain governments in different states that are opening lands, wanting to bring people in. Oklahoma, Kansas, even Detroit, Ohio, different cities are offering people certain, like either free land or giving them certain amounts of money for moving to that the state. Maine is another place, certain parts of New York as well. But as soon as Mama Kali mentioned, I believe Kansas, that was one of those that was on the list. And I just wanted to, add that piece in, from what my sister had talked to me about, and I was wondering, Mama Kali, what are your thoughts about that?
About, well, I also
Add
saw
that piece in,
was someone talking?
I think it was like feedback, I believe it
Oh,
was.
okay. It is true that many states are reaching out and giving land, but they're also bringing in Europeans or displaced Europeans who are in countries that they have to leave, like
Mhm.
South Africa.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what they did, and I know this firsthand, Great Spirit always put me there where somebody gonna tell me something directly. Afrikaners were a whole plane load came in, and I had a sister on the plane who lives right here in Atlanta. She was on a plane coming from South Africa. She's dealing with the tribes down there. Okay? She was on the plane full of Afrikaners.
Mm.
White South African, burly, big Afrikaners. They're very burly and big, rednecks.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to Asheville. Remember Asheville that was destroyed what was it,
Exactly.
a couple of years ago?
Exactly.
Because that uh, uh,
Hurricane Helene.
they need the minerals that are under the Great Smoky Mountains, right?
Mhm.
That's the Blue Ridge Mountain, Great Smoky Mountains. It's pretty much the same mountain range. So, okay, that's what they're doing. They're bringing Ukrainians in here. We're looking at the Mexicans because they are getting those jobs, that we used to have, but they don't complain. You see, because they're glad to have that job. But the truth of the matter is, every step we take, they're trying to take us out of the picture and put somebody else there, preferably somebody who is obedient or somebody that looks more like us. Now, apparently, the birth rate has actually declined even more since last year. I saw a statistic yesterday. I didn't look at it carefully, but I saw it. Okay, and so they that ain't happening with them. As far as this land, you got to see what land they're trying to give you, and what your responsibilities are. My thinking is that we got to do it by ourselves. We cannot go. We cannot go under them again. That would be absolutely foolish.
Exactly.
How crazy could we be?
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about it. We want our land. And because America is big, I can see it being divided into many pieces. Southeast America, east of the Mississippi has always been our land. All the way up to, what is that, Maine. We still have brown skin tribes up there, brown skin. Massachusetts, New York, they got those what do they call them? Gambling casinos. Some of our own brown skinned people, but apparently they were told not to talk to us. I mean, if they want to keep their casino. And I don't know why our people are so easily manipulated. I think it's behind money.
Yes, absolutely.
If you give them some money, don't they know what's happening with the money?
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And looking at the Congressional Black Caucus, or as one of my sisters, she's here in Atlanta, I want to meet her. Her name is Janice. She has a podcast called Unpacked. That sister goes into the official document. She's already uncovered what the military has done. Showed you how to find out who your people are, who served, and what happened to them, and why they are still owed. And all of that. Her name is Janice, and the name of her podcast is Unwrapped. Okay, So we have people out there who really get it, but we have to find a way to come to back. I mean, we have to. We don't have a choice now if we want to survive. This is what we're in survival mode now, because they are. They are fighting for their lives. And them Negroes sitting up there, what the sister call them, she call them congressional coons, which in fact that they are. They are Israeli agents.
Yes.
They took the money for AIPAC directly, and then because they wanted to hide it, Hakeem Jeffries actually created a nonprofit organization where AIPAC can give him the money and he can distribute it to the coons. Okay? So there are ways of hiding where your money is coming from, and if you are an Israeli agent and you are pretending that you are representing our people, no, we're not Black. Okay, so they are the Congressional Black Caucus, which means that everything they do, unless it's for Israel, it's for them, and nobody else. Ain't no Black people nowhere. Means you don't exist. Okay? And I know they know that. If they don't, they sure don't need to be there. But of course, they usually take some, as your fake president, Donald Trump says, low intel people. But there are some that are sharp. A couple of our sisters there are very sharp, but they're still working for the enemy. How are we going to bring them back? That's it.
So Mama Kelly, did you see where they were voting a bill to contain Trump and I guess HASAP from having full access of giving either continuing to give Israel money or to contain his ability to wage war? And all the Republicans, most of them voted for the bill in favor of it, not in favor of it. And then one Democrat jumped the fence and voted to sustain, to continue to give them the power to do what they want. So we really, Aboriginal people of America, we don't have any representation, in this government. The whole game, the Democrats and Republicans are playing a game, or they're beholden to Ben Netanyahu to wage war with
endlessly.
Yeah.
Endlessly. I'm
Yes.
sorry to interrupt.
No,
but
no.
What I looked at, there was a timeline, I'm not sure where I saw it, that showed every 2 years, America has gone into another conflict, those that are quiet, and they have their, what do they call them, a proxy war.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But America's giving them everything they need. The money, all the everything. That ain't us. We ain't them demons. And we don't want to be associated with them. We want our land, the 5 civilized tribes. Why did they call us civilized? Did you ask? And the rest of them, whoever it was, wasn't civilized? Have you ever asked that question? Anybody got an answer or want to tap into it?
Well, civilized meaning compromise from my perspective, and anybody that didn't want to go along with the program, they're uncivilized.
Considered savages.
And many of us in those, quote, 5 civilized tribes didn't go on that Trail of Tears.
That's
We
right.
did not. And
Yeah.
because we knew the land, we just moved out of the way. I had a very good friend in Alabama who told me about his family, how they had actually moved to the mountains of or the hills or somewhere where the Europeans didn't know how to get to, and that's what they did when they were coming through, trying to move us away. And then, of course, we all know that a lot of people who had $5 just got off the boat from Europe were able to actually get on into that, tribe, because they would put $5 under the table. Well, I mean, and they're still trying to say that we ain't got the blood. Talking about some blood quantum. Y'all see how upset I am?
Absolutely. And we
Right.
all and all of us, especially from our generation, we need to be upset and convert that upsetness into
Movement.
the movement. A lot of the people in our generation, either we get in retirement, Social Security, or a 501 or 401k, whatever it is. And a lot of we got people getting military money. They are working to cut all of that. And if you're sitting and being complacent, well, it's always come. It's about the end. And if we don't implement our own economic system, this is not, I just hate to sound like I'm just saying this over and over again. We got to move immediately in putting our structure in place, not dependent on this recessive gene group. They know nobody needs to be dependent on them. And to start operating our own government, and you're in a position to do it right now. Unlike Marina, you were telling us about the news media. We can't depend on it, and tell us why, and tell us what we need to do.
Well, I think it's an easy answer with regards to what we should do with regards to this so-called Black media. Just turn a deafening ear to it. One thing I've noticed with Black media through the years, it seems to just dwindle more and more away from what our concerns are. If Black media is not speaking about the Dred Scott decision, how the 14th Amendment, if they're not mentioning any of these things, because that's the root of our problem. If they are not talking about again, I always bring this up. To me, the 90s was one of the last, well, no, I can't say, because the 2000s is another form of lynching, but the 90s was a massive situation of lynchings that it seems to me, no one speaks about. They act like the 90s came and gone and nothing happened, but they completely forgot about how the rappers had played a huge role in that. Huge. The rappers, the gang culture was created in a university, Pepperdine University. All these different things happened, the crack era, the crime bill, 1994 crime bill, the crack versus cocaine, all these things happened in the 90s. Our children, my generation of children, died in alarming rates. Why haven't Black media talked about that? All these different things that are still pending that we're still affected by from the 90s. People are still under the prison. Children from that era, my era, are still under the prison. This is where my concern lies. As a matter of fact, I noticed how Al Sharpton, because I used to listen to his program, and I stopped listening to it, I believe in like 2011, because I noticed he totally switched his speech, only talking about this homosexual agenda, but not in it being an agenda, but accepting it and making it look like that's a part of our struggle. You know, we already know about Messy Jesse, you know, all these different things. So I just noticed, you see, what does Black media talk about today? Celebrities, right? Homosexual agenda, all these different things that has nothing to do. So basically they are okaying our, what is it called? Our annihilation, our genocide,
Yes, they are
biological
supporting.
genocide.
They are supporting that. Yes.
Completely. And this biological genocide, not speaking about how the most powerful warfare that we have, in my personal opinion, the most effective warfare that we have is when our Indians continue to marry, continue to have healthy relationships, continue to have babies. And this whole agenda that Black media is promoting is doing the exact opposite of brainwash. You know, so that's where I stand. To me, what we should do about it is stop listening to these folks, the Roland Martins, the Karen Hunters. I have yet to see them as being credible. The Al Sharptons, all of them, just shut it off.
Well,
That's where I stand.
well, go ahead, Mama Kelly.
You know they're all bought and paid for.
Yeah, I got a case sample. Go ahead. I'm going to tell you what I
Mhm.
experienced. Yeah, go ahead.
Every one of them, Al Sharpton, see, I've known them for a very long time. Al Sharpton was at my brother's one of the openings in New York City. He was also, and I was there, you know, and so I've been in proximity to a lot of this, but I also had a friend who had one of the best podcasts. Well, it wasn't even podcasts. He started with the videotapes way back in the day, you know, when we were educating ourselves with videotapes, transatlantic production.
Yes.
He is the one who probably single-handedly made Al Sharpton famous. But even then, I was telling this brother, his name was Clemson Brown,
Yes.
transatlantic production. I was saying, can't you see that he is, you know, leading the people over the cliff? But every time Al Sharpton, you know, called him, he would grab his camera and run to wherever the event was so that he used his money to do it. Now, Sharpton didn't have anything until, what was that? I don't remember when they gave him that piece in uh, what is it called? The Empire State Building. Did y'all know
Yes.
he had a place there in the Empire
Yes.
State Building? Do you remember that? Okay.
Yes.
That first place that he had was a storefront that's no bigger than my living room. Okay. And that's where he started in, but Clemson Brown made him famous. And we believed him, but now he the man, he and Crump. Whenever anything happens, don't you see those two come? Why? They got the bag.
Mhm.
Well,
They
Mama
got
Kelly,
the bag, so they take the bag to whoever, you know, the parents of whatever a child has been murdered viciously, and give them the money. Well, we ain't seen $10,000 at one time, most of us, or 20 or 50 or 100,000. So, you know, they take the money.
And that's the
Mama
case
Kelly,
itself.
So you had said something, Andre.
no, so I have two case samples that's
Mhm.
going to give everybody understanding why we must move out of this matrix and get our own matrix, start the divine matrix going. So in the case with Al Sharpton, a lot of people don't remember this, and the demon that control this mechanism, they know that humans will forget. But back in the 80s, and I'm not quite certain whether it was the 80s or the 90s, but you know, Al Sharpton, and I'm never going to talk down on a brother getting his hustle on, you know, because you know our access to funding, we had to do whatever we had to do. But he was hustling cocaine up in the New York area, and the DEA had him on film taking a cut and negotiating how much he was going to be cut out of each key that was brought into the area. And so at one point, I believe Al was saying, look, I'm going to start doing right by my people, and was probably positioning himself to do something effective for our community. And what they do, they played the tape on national television, and he got real quiet, showing him saying, "I want $3,500 a key coming into my community," and so they have things on you. The other case sample, when I wrote my first book about 26 years ago, The Second Coming, a local in the DC area, a news media, allowed me to come on the show and talk about the book. People got excited. And so I went back to that news meeting, program, and say, "Look, I need some help with this book because you know, they were interfering with getting the book in the box." My assessment was this: I knew the people well enough for them to call me and communicate, and they couldn't because the establishment says, "Listen, if you don't entertain rebel people like this man on your show, we will take you public." And they did. And I got a phone call saying that particular media would not be in a position at that time to help me work with promoting the metaphysical information that I was laying out. That's 27 years ago. So in order for our people to operate in this establishment, and we're using their money, we have to follow their guidelines. We got to get a totally different currency initiated and brought into our societal structure that's based on true intrinsic value and not based on what them Zionists manipulating and the illusion of the American dollar. We got to get out of that. We got to create our own economic system and our own currency based on true intrinsic value. And so, on that note, Chairman.
Yes.
So you've been quiet, and the chairman, you have come up with some new information about 3i Atlas, and you know, and I tagged you as disclosure, and you know, we're gonna talk about after you give us a report what disclosure means and why they're not going to disclose the supernatural element in the universe. We're not the only intelligent, and we're not really intelligent. We're not the only intelligent species in the universe. Go ahead, Chairman.
Well, disclosure was brought to us by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad back in the 40s, you know, when he said the mothership. And a lot of people had no idea what he was talking about, but he was educating us then, you know. And now the disclosure is, it's being disclosed almost every day if you're watching certain programs, especially if you're on YouTube. They're telling you about what's happening out there in the our solar system, in our galaxy. You know, you got Congress people talking about it. They can only say so much, and they'll let you know, well, I can't talk about it all, but they're, you know, Congress people, you know, so the disclosure is out there. But I just heard Michio Kaku said that Halley's Comet was intercepted by 3i Atlas. And he said that it changed its course and it met up with it and slowed down and they rendezvoused.
Wow.
You know? And I was like, what? you know, and like Halley's Comet has always been in our solar system, but it just goes way out into the Kuiper Belt, you know, and then every 72 years it gets close enough to us where we can see it. And then it's just that routine. And most people have heard of, Halley's Comet. But this really shocked me when it said that 3I Atlas made this altered its course to meet up with Halley's Comet. I said, wow, that was really something. But like I say, with disclosure, it's always been. I've disclosed it in my book when I talked about how we were brought from other planets and put on planet Earth, and in the order in which blacks were put here first. And we were given the best of the land around the equator. And then our Chinese brothers came. And then our Caucasian brothers were the last ones to come to planet Earth, but they knew they came from another planet. That's why they're in such a hurry of trying to get back out there and doing what they're doing, and the money that they're using to manipulate other countries. It's all about getting back out there, So we have to open our minds up because the story is being told right in front of our face, but we got to open up our ears because it's not a secret anymore, and that's what I have to say about the 3I Atlas and the Halley's Comet, because even NASA told Michio Kaku about that rendezvous, because NASA has the equipment to research and follow these objects, and NASA is not telling everything, but they do let some things out, and they took the Webb telescope and told them to redirect its course and follow what's happening with Halley's Comet and 3I Atlas. So it's a lot of things that are happening, but you got to be aware and you got to know where to look to, find out what's really going on. And they're disclosing it all the time, but they're just giving you a little bit here, a little bit there, thinking it's going to freak you out. But it's not going to freak you out. They're just trying to get ahead of the game. They don't want you to know, because you start thinking that way, then you'll surpass them. They know how the game is. Every time we get involved in something, we rise to the top, So I'll land that plane and give someone else a chance to disclose some information.
Hey, Mama Kelly, you usually weigh in on the extraterrestrial or the supernatural realm. Any?
Okay. Very few people are aware of the fact that Noble Drew Ali also spoke about the apparatus that was coming. And he was before Elijah Muhammad, but Elijah Muhammad actually expanded the information. Noble Drew Ali said that there was going to be, an apparatus that was coming from outer space. He didn't say a mothership or anything. And I think people just kind of blew over it because it was beyond their understanding at that time, But as far as what's happening with 3I Atlas, and I'm happy to hear that information because from you, Sharon, because I had not heard that. And as far as 3I Atlas is concerned, it is reprogramming old celestial
Satellites.
probes that the Voyager, it's
Yes.
reprogrammed. The Voyager that's been out there since 1970.
77.
Yes.
Voyager 1 and 2.
It has reprogrammed.
Hey, Mama Kelly, do you realize that there was a Star Trek episode? I think they did a movie on one of the satellites that we sent out back, and then whenever we sent it out, that the aliens got, or an advanced civilization got hold to it and reprogrammed it, and it came back to confront the makers. This was an actual Star Trek episode. All right, so
Well, they tell us everything.
Yes.
well, our biggest problem here, and I say this all the time on at least every other show to our Aboriginal people. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. The Caucasians were created to serve the civilization that enslaved us. They were the civilization that enslaved us is acted like a subcontractor for the Most High to come and test us. That's all this is. And so this system was designed to lie, cheat, steal, do what? Take us to the highest heights of destruction to force us to understand how and why we have to come together as one species. And it's as simple as that. They lied to us about religion. They made up all of the religions that were made up simply to control you. And so stop getting mad with us and conscious people when we tell you, yo, Jesus Christ was made up.
Yeah.
And if you want some verification, go get our book, lucifersrevenge.net, and it'll explain to you in detail how they went to study and learn how to make a God and how they made it and created it. And then our ancestors, the reason it was passed down from your ancestors because they had a gun at their head and said, either you're going to take this religion, this dumbass religion, or we're going to kill you. And so to protect the children, they say, okay, boss, you got me in this position, but we're no longer in that position. So stop following those religions, them dumbass religions that's telling you to pray to a frequency that they made up. It's time for us to tap in the frequency of the Most High and move on. Yes, ma'am. Go ahead, Mama Kelly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about everything. The thing is okay, historically, the first Christian religion was practiced in Ethiopia. Okay? The Ethiopians also can actually still possess the original sacred scrolls. Now I'm seeing the Ethiopian Bible being sold by white people on the internet. Okay, so I'm wondering if they've also gotten a hold of the authentic Ethiopian Bible and changed that, because when it was 325 BC, when they overruled the Ethiopians at the Council of Nicaea at Constantinople. What they call it then? Oh, it was called Constantinople, now called Istanbul.
Yes.
But yeah, that was 325 AD when that first council was overtaken. And there was a brother from Ethiopia who was the head of the Christian church at that time. His name was Arius. And, he came and said, no, what you're trying to sell us is not real. It's not authentic. We can't go along with it. And so what did they do? Constantine and his mama, they killed him. Okay? And created this new Christ, which was, Yahweh, actually, and not Yehoshua or Yeshua.
Yes.
I think they call him Yahweh, which is Enlil.
Yeah.
That gene that was put into us to worship Enlil. Okay, and so now I'm beginning to wonder what is it that the Europeans are now looking at the Ethiopian Bible and all of that. I don't have the confidence, Chief Andre, that you have in the Europeans that they may be, changing. I don't have that confidence. I'm sorry. If I may just take one more minute and, because I see we're getting to the end, I don't want to dominate this conversation.
Go ahead.
Last night, it actually took me 2 days to rewatch or Gangs of New York. Have you guys seen that movie?
I haven't.
Okay. It's free now. You used to have to pay for it. Now you can get it on I've forgotten what. If you just put it into your YouTube and movies, it'll probably come up because it's free. Okay. So what it was a fight between the gangs of New York, okay? 1846. And there was a tribe, what they call themselves a tribe of immigrants who had come in the 1700s and had become citizens and even had so-called, they had fought in the quote Revolutionary War. And so their descendants called themselves natives. So there was a native party then, the Know Nothing Party in the early 1800s, and it was very, very strong in New York, okay? Well, it was around that time that they were bringing 15,000 Irish per week into New York. And the native whites, so-called, they call themselves native. I don't know how you become a native and you're the second or third generation, but there you are. And so these the Irish that were coming in, they also had their groups coming from their areas. So there was a battle for supremacy. And it was so brutal, I had to close my eyes most of the time. But what I wanted to see was what it was so brutal. So that's the way they are against their own people.
Absolutely.
They don't care. They just want to be brutal. That's their nature. They're brutal. I mean, I can't see a bunch of blood and stuff on the screen. I just can't see it. So, okay, so this is a true story.
Yes. Yeah. Now that you
Gangs of
talk
New
about
York.
it, I've seen it. Yeah.
Oh, uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
And I checked it to find out if indeed it was true, and it is. It was a depiction, but another thing that I saw in that movie was that the best, his buddy, the DiCaprio, the lead man, Leonardo DiCaprio, he always had a melanated man next to him, and he would perform and do a jig of the Irish jig. So what I saw from that was they were letting you know that there were Black Irish too who came over. Now we know that, but they don't admit it, and it was very subtle how they did it. I'm sure a lot of people didn't see that, you see. And so we're talking about people who are brutal. And so the Irish became policemen, and in New York, and they still there, and they still got them gangs. And I think it was the Polish who became firemen. And they are all against our people.
Absolutely.
They were created and given jobs to police us. And so I land that there.
Okay, so once again, we're leading into the direction of how we do this. Hey, man, Andre Jr. You last week you talked about the paperwork, it's more to the paperwork, And you're signing up people every day that's joining the collective. What is your assessment this week?
Traffic of people that's coming in.
Yeah. What is your statement to those that are? I think I'm about ready to get with this movement because our people are doomed.
Oh, listen. What I'm noticing that's coming in right now, which I think is necessary, are what I like to call our frontline people. In other words, our people in every family who typically the black sheep of their family, right? They're typically the black sheep of their family. And they say it straight to me in the orientations, nationality orientation, that I'm the one in my family who's jumping out here first to do this, right? Say it again, I'm the one that's jumping out here first. Is that my other family members, they interested, but they just want to see me do it first to see how it turn out. That's what they all tell me, right? And so right now we have a whole tribe warrior class. That's what we have. We have a tribe full of the one quote unquote black person in the family, or two or three, that are willing to get out here and say, I'm willing to transition out of this colonial illusion into a tribal government of my people with the intent on being as self-sustainable as possible. Right? Every Thursday, we have a real estate and development meeting in the tribe. Every Thursday. Good majority of the people in the tribe join and are interested. And I ask them all the time. I ask them, hey family, how y'all want to live? Like, how do y'all envision us acquiring land, putting our tribal jurisdiction over it, and most importantly, building the infrastructure, the residential, the commercial, the utility, the agricultural, the import-export infrastructure. And what I'm finding is they have, even if they don't have the knowledge or the experience on it, doesn't matter, they have the will, which is most important. I tell them all the time, I got a background in construction. I don't need you to have a background in construction. I just need you to have the will and desire to get ready to build. It's like, I know people with the experience, I can't tell them a damn thing. I can't lead them horses to water, but they got all the experience, but they ain't gonna do nothing with it. But for all of those people who are willing to rebuild all of the towns that they drowned, burned, and destroyed to where we were thriving, right? Y'all are ready to rebuild those. We are the tribe that's doing that. I ain't got nothing against no other tribes, but I spent a lot of time working with other tribes, asking them, hey, when we gonna go get this land? Only for them to tell me things like, well, you got a house, that's your land right there, or that land ain't important right now. We ain't gonna know what to do with it if you get it. A lot of dissent, shockingly, I heard from a lot of different tribes and groups. I don't know what their fear is exactly. I got a general understanding of what their fear is of rebuilding, but either way, our tribe, we ain't scared. We ain't scared. So what happens if you come join us? You go to uaarnation.org, go to the nationality page. We probably have the most affordable, I ain't gonna say cheap, but we probably got the most affordable nationality process, okay? Out of any tribe you may get with, right? You're gonna go through a tribal screening. In other words, you're gonna get a genealogy test to figure out who your people is. That's mostly for you. You need to know who you need to know what your lineage is. So you have confidence and confirmation with yourself that you are Indigenous and Aboriginal American. Right? That's mostly for you. But what it does for us is, since we're a tribe that abides by the ancient concept of jus soli and jus sanguinis, even though those are Latin terms, we invented the concept. We've been applying it for thousands of years. Being born of the land and being born of the bloodline. That's what your genealogy is for. Like, I need to know that you're born of the land and born of the bloodline. Otherwise, I can't nationalize you. Okay. It's like we're a tribe of our people, respectfully, unapologetically as well. Unapologetically, we are a tribe of our people. If you're not of us, listen, just put yourself in position to collaborate with us in due time. But you got to be of us to join this tribe. Now, I'm saying this as the chief jurist. I'm saying this as the guy of the tribe who nationalizes everybody. The paperwork is important, yeah, because you're documenting, because it's important in today's time that we document everything, because we know we got enemies that like to burn stuff and erase your existence in that way, right? So it's important for us to document stuff because of that reason. But primarily, in our ancient times, we did oral tradition. We just passed information down orally. But today, we got to document everything, right? So in other words, the paperwork that I'm going to give you is important for today's time. But what's way more important than that is your will and desire to lock arms with all of your people, with these this whole tribe of frontline people, and get ready to build. I know most of y'all have the interest because I can see it. Because y'all trying to figure out what this whole world, well, at least what this country is finna turn into. You ain't got the interest of going nowhere else. You know you at home here. But, how do you want to live right now with the intent on planning on how you're going to go forward into the future, not even for us, for the future generations. I tell everybody in the tribe know. I tell everybody all the time, I ain't doing this for me. I ain't even got children yet. I'm working on it, but I don't have them yet. But it's for those next generations. And we're building the foundation for those next generations. So they don't have to grow up in this illusion, learning everything about this illusion. Then they got to get untaught everything about this illusion and then retaught about themselves so that they can live in harmony with this planet and universe and the Most High. All right. So again, go to uaarnation.org, go through the nationality process, very simple, right? You will meet me personally at some point on this path. And then eventually, and when I say eventually, it don't take long. It's like usually people who come in, we give them the links or basically access to meetings to what we're planning right away. Right? We ain't gonna make you wait until next year to get involved with this, because everything we need to do is right now. So I'm gonna land that plane right there. I know we 9 minutes past the hour. One more time, go to uaarnation.org, go to the nationality page, and hit apply.
All right, so we're coming to that point where we need everybody's last comment. I see Amani, she's live. We're gonna get her on. Everybody, we got at least a minute each to give me your closing statement. One of the things that I promised on my promo was that when I visit the tribal land down in South Georgia, I found out how you get your tribal spiritual name. So Chief Betty, we were sitting on the porch, we're talking, and she explained to me that you get your tribal name, your tribal spiritual name. She didn't say it like that, but that's the way that was my system. When you're sitting around in a gathering, whatever animal that comes up, is an indication of that's the spirit of you. And so I was sitting there and a bunch of about 3 hummingbirds. I was saying, "Man, you ain't gonna call me Chief Hummingbird, are you?" So, but she said, "Yeah, that's who we are." She said the same about herself. And but yeah, we have the land. We putting all the pieces together. But the most important piece is we don't have any leverage with none of the monetary systems until we get enough of us together saying we got leverage. That's when we're going to be able to fund this land. It's one thing having land, but we got to get it built on. Hey, Morena, you got a minute. Give us your closing statement.
My closing statement is, as usual, as always, I'm thanking you all for this opportunity to learn, to be a student. And I'm here for the long haul. I am definitely completely on board I'm grateful and thank you all so much.
Absolutely. Hey, Amani, you've been quiet. I didn't know if you was active or not, but go ahead. But tell us what you think about all this.
Yeah, like I said, I was just tuning in, soaking up the wisdom, grateful to be here. And I agree with a lot, everything that was said, especially when it comes to infrastructure. Sister Moraine, I know how big I am on that. And what you said about, the economics, I think that the key will be bringing our skills back together, but also what skills do we have that is essential to building? What skills do we have that is rooted in our culture? How many seamstresses do we really have? Cooks, gardeners. Like, we have to kind of get back to the basics because so much of what is going on now with colonization is technology, but we're not going to need mainly technology to build homes and things like that. So I'm just wondering, what transferable skills do we really have in our community? And really, how about it are we? Can we stop shopping at the main stores for clothing and have our own custom clothing and go to the sister in our tribe to dress ourselves and our children? Can we support the farmers in our own communities? Like, that's the only way we're going to be able to build an economy, in my mind. And the spiritual stuff, man, that gets tricky, because you don't want to start causing division based off of something as, you know, simple as belief. And it's like, we'll get to that later. Just come out here and get some bricks and build something, and we'll focus on that later. I don't know. But I don't, necessarily want to have to debate with people about belief, because that has gotten in the way for so long. But to your point, we have to, if we can't put our energy towards the right divine power and frequency, what are we really building?
There you go.
Yes.
So it's so many different levels to it. It's complex. I like that this chat is not full of a lot of people, because you don't necessarily need quantity, you need quality. And I want to continue to come here and really just scan the energy, get to know you all get to know me, to make sure it's a right fit. Because when I'm committed, I'm committed, you know.
Hey, well, with a statement like that, once our women come back to us, the war is won, it's over. Hey, Mama Kelly, go 1 minute. Let's close it out.
Okay. Tomorrow there will be a class of children coming here to begin to work on our summer crops. Okay. Now, I have a situation here where I'm overrun by deer, rabbits, possums, squirrels, and so forth. But we're going to clear the area outside. Now, I have for the last couple of years um, been gardening on my patio, which is a pretty good size. It's a pretty good size patio, and it is screened. And so, I've been able to raise crops. And basically, the lady who it's a sister who's bringing her class, she homeschools and has a whole lot of other children in her class. And she was down there in South Florida with us. When we were there at Chief Betty's, what was that, about 6 weeks ago, I think it was, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
hmm She was there on that Sunday. And because she is local here in Atlanta, she's bringing her children tomorrow to help to get the outside garden cleared up because it's overrun, but we are also preparing to fence it in so that we will have some protection, of the crops. At this point, only what I can produce on my patio is what I can do. But we are looking for expanding that. And I'm so happy that the sister's here. She has the children. She says she doesn't know anything, but that's okay, because the first thing you have to do is get a hoe in your hand, a shovel in your hand, and prepare the land. I remember I told her that the old people back in the day when I was a child, everybody in my community would have their land plowed in the springtime, okay? And we never ever planted any crops before Easter, okay? And she had never heard the word plow. And she thought that I meant that my land had to be plowed. Well, I don't have a mule, and I don't have the plow. So we got to go with shovels and hoes to actually prepare the land. Maybe once we get a couple of acres way out there, we can get ourselves a mule and an old plow, especially if there's no gas for the machines. We got to use our sweat equity. And this is what we have to use to do everything, the sweat equity.
Absolutely.
Okay. All
So,
right.
so I've mentioned before, every Black man, every Aboriginal man that's watching this show, we have elder sister like Mama Kelly. We got Chief Betty down in Georgetown, Georgia. They need resources. And if you're not ready to join in and get involved right now, donate some funds so these sisters are holding this land down for you and your children to restore your manhood. You know, all you got to do is come on this land, build and protect. Our women to start respecting us. So, Mom Kelly, you have that Cash App number again? You want to give it out?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's Mama Mitty, MAMAMITTIE, $ Mama Mitty. MAMAMITTIE. Okay.
There you go. So send $5 if you've been getting a whole lot of bag and you know that money is getting ready to dissolve into nothing. Send $100, $1,000. It'll help. These sisters been worrying. They've been waiting on us keeping this land. You know, and they're trying. These demons are trying to take it. They're always trying to take it. They're coming up with schemes. Same thing down in southern Georgia. So make if you're not ready yet to understand where we are, help these programs out because they're going to be taking care of your children and your grandchildren. I said yesterday, them baby kids, they need somewhere to go. We're going to get them off them drugs they be giving those kids and put them on natural food. We're going to stop all this madness. Hey, Chairman, we you know, the disclosure, I know that the disclosure means they got some technology from these advanced civilizations and they them commercialize it and they making money off of it. And if they disclose where they got the technology from through our government, then that means that they got to write some checks to everybody. And they don't want to do that. Selfish bastards. What do you think?
Well, my final words is my people perish for lack of knowledge. And a hummingbird is a very graceful bird. So acknowledge and accept that.
All right. Well, I'll take it. I'll take it, Chairman. Hey, I'm glad to say something. If the old brother say I can act and embrace it, and it ain't too feminine, I'm going with it. All right. Hey,
Not feminine at all.
I know. I'm just talking.
Oh.
I'm just clown. I'm the chief hummingbird.
Okay.
Hey.
Chief hummingbird. I'm gonna make you a hummingbird cake.
Oh my goodness. All right. Hey, Junior, you want to go ahead and close? All right, did everybody get into their final? Yeah, I think we got everybody in, right? So, Junior, it's on you to close it out with your final statement and close us out.
All right, all right. I think it's been a wonderful show. Want to give a shout out to our new guest and family, Sister Marina, Sister Imani. We appreciate y'all being here and just bestowing your life force and wisdom on the show. As usual, Mama Kelly, Chairman Terrence Lake, we appreciate y'all as well. Final words though. I'm gonna want to piggyback a little bit off of what Sister Imani said, which she said is very important. Transferable skills. Listen, I don't know nobody in the tribe that ain't got no transferable skills. Everybody, listen. We talking about this right here.
That's right.
We got all the skills, and we all know that. Well, I'll tell y'all, listen, everybody in the tribe got something to contribute. You do. And it's gonna be valuable in one phase or the other. Don't worry about whether or not you're worthy or not to be here. You absolutely are. Believe that. All right. But I'm gonna close it right there, family. This has been the Straight Talk Network show. We love y'all as always. Peace out. We'll see you next week.
Peace out.
Conversation piece.
Peace.
Peace.